How's it going, guys? Hey. All right. So I am already hot on both frames here. Let me slide this over so I can see what I'm supposed to talk about. And yeah, so we're good. All right. So first off, I was at the music store the other day that I go to, Sound Systems on 544. Um got some more GoFundMe dollars thanks to my awesome stepmom and brother Tim Novi and a couple other people. Uh, so I ended up going back to You guys heard the last time that I'd gotten a new board. I went back to the sound shop, and they allowed me to trade in the one that I had for the bigger option. So we now got a bigger board. So we got a different little recording situation. So it took me a little longer to. This is the first time I've recorded with this one, so it took me a little longer to get the levels right. And it looks like I'm peaking a couple times on here, but that's not the worst thing in the world, is it? All right. So we were talking, myself, Joey, and Austin, and he was like, "Man, you better be shouting us out on that podcast." And I was like, "Brother, I have been." I've definitely shouted them out on a couple episodes before, but I want to make this a formal thank you to Sound Systems, brother Joey, and Austin for being. I mean, just there's another music store in the area here, and let's just say that as far as customer service, Sound Systems is definitely the way to go. Do that if you need any sort of musical equipment at all. So there's that. All right. So on Facebook, I asked for a couple of ideas of things that I should talk about, and I got a few hits, mostly from brother Timmy Pierce, who is another lower little PD native, or the big PD native rather, from the big city of Hartsville, a Red Fox himself, the land of Tyler Israel as well. And he is a musician, and he posted on this or commented on this post the top 10 things that you should never ask or say to a musician. So this is hilarious. It's going to be a interesting world. And I've definitely gone over this a couple more times, definitely in the Cornbread podcast and a few times in this one. But this is going to be mostly dedicated to I guess show etiquette or anyway. Uh, there's a few things that people do and they don't realize that they do them, and I understand that. But there are a few people who are just entitled, and the world isn't for them. So just keep that in mind. It'll all come back in together at the end. Don't worry. There are certain things that people shouldn't say or ask a musician. For instance, Timmy came up with a few. I'll name a few that he came up with. Do you have a real job? First off, what constitutes a real job? Like so? For instance, there's jobs where you get paid fake money. Like, no, we get paid real fucking money. We make dollars. Like, of course, it's a real job. This is a real job. This is my only job. And literally, I'm putting a little bit more time into the podcast world, and I did a little woodworking today. But my real job is what makes you money, right? Your real job is what where your dollars come from. There ain't nothing fake about the money you're putting in your bank account. I'm gonna bring back a little bit of this. There ain't nothing fake about the money you put in a bank account. There ain't nothing fake about the work that we do. So yes, we have a real job. We're doing it. You're fucking looking at us. Get over yourself. Play something good. That's another one we get. Play something good. Do you think does the thought ever cross your mind that we're sitting up here and we're like, you know what? I want to play a song that's not good. I want to play something that these people are not going to like. I know they're not going to like it, and that's what I want to play. I think I want to do that. Is that what you think we're thinking when we do that? Play something good. I thought the last five were fine. What I mean, where are we at? What's going? What's the problem here? Where do we go wrong? Play something good. Why don't you know my song? These are three different comments that Timmy posted up here. Do you have a real job? Play something good. And why don't you know my song? Well, I'm sorry. Maybe you're the only person in the world that knows this. And I actually get it a lot of the times where people will ask me to play a really popular song and I just don't listen to the radio. And I usually say that as a disclaimer at the beginning of every show that I do. And well, not every show, but the majority of shows, and Smitty and Adam can back me up, or Ed can back me up on this. I always say, listen, none of us really listen to the radio. Like Adam maybe, but I'm pretty sure that Smitty don't listen to the radio, and I know for fuck's sake I don't listen to the radio at all unless it's sports talk. And yeah, so I mean, if you're asking me for an extremely popular song that you think, oh, everybody will know this song, not everybody, you know, I'm sorry, maybe I don't listen to that stuff, and I know it's my job to keep customers at places that I play at happy and keep them there and basically keep them drinking, make them spend money, and I feel like I do a pretty good job of that. And just because I don't play a song that one person wants to hear, the rest of the room seems pretty happy. Recycle your plastics. Big gulp. Sorry. Gosh, you know, man has tried thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times with uber amounts of different beverages, and nobody can beat water. Tyler, who's the lead singer of Aerosmith, for those of you who lived under a rock for the last 40 years, um, so he was talking about, they were talking about like ghosts and Muscle Shoals, and how Joe Rogan asked Steve if he had watched the documentary, and they both had seen it. And Steven was talking about being in that, just being in the studio and just feeling the vibes of those who were there before him. You know, it's just like, and then Joe countered with like, you know, that's the whole same thing with ghosts. You know, like maybe if all these good things that happened in the Muscle Shoals studio, like maybe it's just like certain places have memories or certain things have feelings, or you know, something just like imprints on a specific place, and just things that happen there are won't leave. You know what I mean? Like an entity almost. The same could be for like maybe if in a room in a house where something horrible happens, like a guy hacks his entire family up or whatever. Like maybe that's what this ghost and or these weird things are. Maybe it's just a weird vibe that gets left, like a stain, invisible stain that gets left on the like a place, and it can go either good or bad, or come from something either good or bad. But Steven Tyler made the point, and I'm tying this all together. I'm sorry, this is a longer tangent than I expected. Steven Tyler said, well, water has memories. And if you listen to this podcast, he's crazy. He's fucking madman, and he doesn't make a lot of sense. But he said water is not ever destroyed. Like you drink water, you pass water, it evaporates and comes back down. Like water is constant and it remains. I'm talking about it and I love it so much. Recycle your plastics. That's the end of that story. Then I found $20. Heyo. All right. So, snap back to reality. The people that say, why don't you know my song? And then that hold the phone up to your face and say, here's the words. You're the worst people. I'm sorry. But you look, I got Google. Like, bitch, I got Google too. You think I don't know how to use the fucking internet? I realize what you're trying to get across to me, but you got to understand it's not cool. You gotta please, people, tell your friends about this. Like give classes, get your neighborhoods together, talk about these things. We need awareness raised on this subject. We need people to not harass us like we're second rate workers, because we are not. We are doing the one thing that nobody else in their professions can do, and that is take your mind away from the world for a little bit. If it's just nothing other than the fact that you sitting there at the table trying to find a way to bitch about how loud we are or whatever have you, you're thinking about something else that's not a real world problem. And I call that a W. That was a tangent thought. Okay, so another thing, and all of these are from Brother Timmy. When we finish for the night, and then folks say, "Well, we just got here." Well, I'm sorry, you should have got here 4 hours ago when I did. I got nothing for you. We're done. We've been here for 4 hours, and I know Timmy. Timmy is I'm pretty sure he don't take breaks, if I'm not mistaken. I know he's a cruise ship guy, and I don't think a lot of those guys take breaks. And I'm one of those guys that I feel like if I take a break, I'll lose momentum. If I take a break, it's usually to talk to the owner of a restaurant to ask them, "Hey, I'm in this industry too. Should we cut this early tonight?" Or, and I get a lot of callbacks because I do things like that, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's part of this job too. Is seeing when the room needs you. If a room doesn't need you in it, and you can recognize that, a bar owner is going to appreciate the fact that you recognize that, and that's part of this business. And I'm sure that a lot of the other listeners who are musicians will more than likely agree with that for the most part, I think. But Timmy invited on added to the conversation a couple of people. Jimmy Mowry said getting a heavy metal request while playing an acoustic show is one of his. Like, somebody will come up and obviously you're playing an acoustic guitar. I keep burping. Me and Marshall had Lucky Panda earlier. It was fantabulous. But I keep tasting egg roll. Anyway, Jimmy Mowry plays acoustic guitar, as we all do, usually in our solo acts. I don't know a lot of solo guys who do, or even band guys who do full-on electric all the time, except for Matt. But Matt Parker, he still does acoustic stuff as well. But you walk up to a guy holding an acoustic guitar sitting on a stool and ask him to play like Maiden or Slayer or something like that, just to be able to say, "Oh, he didn't know that." I mean, that's a dickhead move. I'm sorry, but you get over yourself. We get what you're trying to prove. Now, I make the mistake of usually at the beginning of the gigs, I'll say, "How's it going, guys? We're Cornbread. Anything you want to hear, feel free to holler it out. There's a 30% chance we'll know it. We'll do 30% of what we don't know, 100% of what we do know within reason. This is a family establishment." Generally, that's the whole spiel. Or if duo, solo, the Kelsey Hudgens, anything you want to hear, feel free to holler it out. There's a 10% chance I'll know it. I just changed the percentage of it depending on how many people are in the band. But I'll sometimes say, if you think you can stump me, challenge extended. Depending on the room, if I'm in a room with the right age group, I can usually bat 600 with the requests that I get. And or for those who are not familiar with the baseball, I could probably do 60% of the requests that I get. And if that's people trying to stump me. Now, I will also add that if somebody tries to stump me, they can succeed if they really try. But the thing that it does is it makes people ask. It engages the crowd and it starts the conversation. And really, that's all I care to do, is I want to have a conversation with the crowd. You got to start a relationship with them. Like, if it's you get on stage and it's like, I'm this entity that's standing up here playing you music, then you will keep that relationship. And that's a very awkward relationship because you don't know where you stand with that. But if I get up there on stage and I say, hey, if you think you can stump me, challenge extended, and people yell out 3 songs and I don't know any of them, then I've just embarrassed myself and all of these people. But in doing that, I've had a conversation with 3 different tables of people, and that has then opened up, like, the broken the ice basically, and now I'm friends with the room. They're comfortable with me now, and other tables will see, okay, so he's fine with us literally yelling out a song that we want him to play, which I love that. Like, that's what pays the bills. That's what I get paid to do, and I love making people happy outside of, like, sorry, wagon wheel or whatever the fuck. Like, I'm sorry, but outside of wagon wheel or something just absolutely ridiculous, I like making people happy more than I hate doing stuff I don't want to do. As far as music goes, recycle your plastics. As far as music goes, anyway, um, let's see here. So, yeah, don't be the guy who asked us to play Slayer with an acoustic guitar. We will do Metallica, though. We will do Metallica. So, Brother Jeff Pitts of Prettier Than Matt had a good one. People always come up and say, play something we can dance to. Like, all right, so people come up and say, so what kind of music do you play? And I'm like, maybe I should go, I don't know, what kind of dancing can you do? Because think about it. Have you ever heard a song outside of some really, really left field Beatles stuff that, like a Being for the Benefit or We Can Work It Out, that changes tempos in the middle of a song? Are there any songs you can't dance to? Or are you just saying that you're limited in your dance moves and you want us to play beach music because that's the only kind of thing you can move to? Is that where we're at? Like, should there be an exchange of some of these questions, maybe? Like, when somebody says, play something we can dance to, should I get maybe their credentials on where they learned to do the shag? Because 9 times out of 10 in this area, and we don't move around a whole lot from the southeast, but most definitely in the North Myrtle Beach in the North Myrtle Beach area, and a lot around here, if somebody says play something we can dance to, they want beach music. They want Under the Boardwalk, which I don't mind Under the Boardwalk, and I love those songs, man. It's the kind of thing, when you hear them, it takes you back to a different time when everything was corny but okay. Like, no, everything was corny, so it was all right. And that's funny, isn't it? Everything was corny, so it was okay. But anyway, that's usually the kind of stuff that they mean. And instead of coming up with a specific request, they want to come up and insult us by saying, play something we can dance to, as if we weren't already doing so and you're just limited on your fucking dance moves. I'm sorry. I'm really good at keeping myself contained as far as not being angry when I talk about this stuff. But if I mention these things and my brain goes to a specific time that when something like this happens, I just start recalling that and get heated, and I have to breathe a little bit. Now, I named this episode the Stop Requesting Freebird Talk, because Brother Timmy Pierce also said in the comment section, Timmy basically, Timmy doesn't realize it, but he basically wrote a large chunk of the bullet points that I was using, and I appreciate you for doing that, homie. Good looking out. I give you cred, no doubt. But yeah, stop requesting fucking Freebird, please. We get it. It's a great song. It really is. If you haven't heard Freebird in a while, listen to it, because it's awesome. And I challenge you to turn it off. You start Freebird, I challenge you to turn it off. It's a great song. But guys, it's old. We hear it every gig at least a dozen times. and in the summer 24. Everybody's going to yell Freebird, and that's always going to be a thing. And you know how I've started countering that? I've started playing it every time they ask for it. Every time they want to hear Freebird, damn it, I'll do it. You know why? Because it's a good song, and because I know no other band touches it because of its reputation. Maybe we'll bring back Freebird. But until then, stop requesting it, because if you request it, I'm gonna call your bluff, and I'm gonna make an ass. I'm gonna make an ass out of you, and probably destroy a song that you love. And by destroy, I mean that in a good way. I hope. Recycle your plastics. Yeah, recycle your plastics. So those were the few that I got from brother Timmy and Jimmy and Jeff. Timmy, Jimmy, Jeff. Wow, Timmy, Jimmy, and Jeff. That was tough to say. Say that 3 times real fast, guys. Timmy, Jimmy, and Jeff. All right, but other than the ones that they came up with, I wrote a few down. So mine are. Oh no, there's another one. Timmy did say this one. No, you or this was a collab. I would say, no, you can't sing with me. I don't care how good you are, and I'll explain that. From my perspective, if you come up to me and you say, "Hey man, you know how to play blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Nah, man, I've never tried it. I mean, you know, I could probably play it, but I don't really know the words, and I don't really feel like I want to throw that out there right now because I don't want to make an ass out of myself or embarrass myself or whatever I want. It doesn't matter. I'm not doing it because I don't know it." And he's like, "Well, I know it. If you can play it, I can sing it." And I'm like, "Oh, no, I don't think you understood that I'm the only one that is going to be singing today. I mean, if you want to do that when you get home in your car on the way home, as soon as you step out of the door of this place, I don't give a fuck. Do what you got to do. I'm the only one that's singing on this stage in this microphone because I'm being paid to do so, and you are not. And I apologize. And secondly, if you're that good, you wouldn't have to come up to me and tell me that you were that good. And I would already know. Or I would have several other people come around and say, and usually this situation happens, and I can tell a good musician when this happens. If somebody from a table comes up to me and says, "Hey man, my buddy plays music and he's a little shy about getting up, but he's really good, man." And I look at the table and this dude's just looking mad and furious that this guy is talking to me, and I'm like, that guy's probably a good musician because he understands how aggravating it is when that happens to us. And I blame karaoke for a lot of this, and not karaoke people. I know a couple of karaoke folks that are good people, and the only thing is when drunk people, when drunk people want to sing a song, they don't see any reason why they shouldn't be able to do that. And you're here with music. I do karaoke all the time down at the place where I am at where I'm from in Maryland or wherever the fuck. But we ain't in Maryland, cousin, and this ain't a karaoke bar, and I ain't got no little TV with the words on it for you, and I'm sorry, but that ain't gonna fucking happen. That's one reason. 2 reasons why this will never happen is because then at that point, and I'm sorry, they could be good, and I'll see somebody in the crowd who I know is a good musician, and I enjoy their work, but I will still never invite them on stage because anytime you get one person to do that, then everybody else in the audience sees that as an option. Brian Jordan, I see you there. What happened? Everybody in the room then sees that as an option. When you let one person on stage, Brian Jordan, then everybody else in the room is like, "Oh, so I can do that? So that's a thing that we can do? I didn't know we were allowed to get on stage and sing." So that then creates a whole whirlwind of this, and it happens subconsciously. This happens subconsciously because this whole monkey see, monkey do situation, people will see one person doing it and they will all do that. And I know this for a fact because what happened, Brian Jordan, was in North Myrtle Beach at Boardwalk Billy's, where our good friend Wesley Bellamy hangs out on the regular, who may very well be a listener. I'm not sure. Um, we Me and Smitty were doing a duo one night, and I've told this story in another episode too. So you're going to hear this twice if you've heard that episode. But anyway, people kept walking up, and a person walked up. The first person wrote their request down on a napkin and laid it down on a stool in front of us. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, yeah, we can do that. So then the next person walked up, request written on a napkin. By the end of the night, we had a stack of napkins with all of the requests on them. And it was just so funny to me because people saw one person do this way. And then for the rest of the night, everybody else did the same exact thing. And that was just an amazing scientific experiment, if you will, or hypothesis that I got to witness. Because I was like, wow, everybody did the same thing just because they saw one person do it that way. Are people really that, what's the word I'm looking for? Hive mind? Maybe hive mindish. I don't know. I know that's not a word, but maybe it can be now. But do people really share that much of a hive mind to where they can do all of that just because they saw other people doing it? But the one thing that the writing on a napkin does help out with, though, is making requests in the middle of a song, which you should never do. Never make a request in the middle of a song. That is rude, and it's rude. It's rude, and it draws the attention away from the musician and onto you, who's now asking them the question, and now the entire room is looking at you with your weird, I don't know, with your hat, with your hat. See, I'm just thinking about people. Recycle your plastics. You and your weird hat and your funny hair and your shorts with your cargo shorts that nobody wears anymore. Seth Funderburk. Hey-o. Everybody say hey-o. See, my brain is fluttering in and out because I just got done eating all this Chinese food, and it's probably wanting sleep, but it's not going to get it for a few more hours. So that's what's happening. Anyhow, back to the reality there, B Rabbit. If you feel the need to ask for a song in the middle of make a request in the middle of a song, write your request on a napkin, please. Right on, Timmy. Appreciate you, man. Good call. For those of you listening to audio, I got a couple of live watchers on the YouTube thing here. So yeah, write it on the napkin, and if you feel the need to write a request in the middle of a song, that's simple. But the times they are changing, Bob Dylan. My granddad would be so fucking confused if he heard this next sentence. As a musician, he was playing YouTube videos on your phone at your table is bad, bad. Especially if there's music in these videos, because some of us have what you would call a musician's brain, in which if you play any other sort of music, we can't help but listen to it. We can't help but hear it because it's part of us, and people don't get that, I don't think. But how rude is it when we're sitting up here playing music, and this has happened a couple times at I'm not going to name the place because I love the room. But Timmy, it's a place we play at, and it's we'll talk about this in person. But it just seems to be a thing mostly with teenagers, and by all means, if you excluding those with kids, if you've got a kid, and you know, but by all means, keep those fuckers from crying in public as often as possible. Like show them the tablets, let them watch the little videos at the table. By all means, do that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about grown people, or teenagers, or people with teenagers who are just sitting on their phone, just playing. And games don't bother me so much because we could fight that, but we're never going to stop because video games are awesome, and kids are not idiots because they realize that they're just kids. But if they're showing videos like playing, showing YouTube videos to their friends and talking and laughing, and the entire table is just like huddled around a phone, and it's just, I feel like a caveman standing here watching 8 other cavemen look at a fire for the first time. It's like, what's that? That whole image in my head was really funny for some reason. Recycle. I'm Robin Williams in this water up here, man. This shit is dank. Recycle your plastics. All right. So, oh yeah, going back to the excluding those with kids, but keep your kids from crying. I heard this guy on Sports Talk the other night talking about he was supporting, like, he was like, man, give parents with crying babies a break, because first off, we've all been that crying baby. We've all put our parents in weird, awkward situations before because we've been that piece of shit that wouldn't shut the fuck up. We've been that, and we have no reason to. And I mean, we can get upset, but it's only because we're miserable in our own lives. But give those people with the crying babies a little break, because we've all been that baby before. And we've all made somebody else's day miserable at some point in time. Speaking of making someone's day miserable, and this is a shorter episode, so I'm coming to a close here, and I'm stoked the video hasn't cut out yet. But if it does, we're to the point now to where I'm kind of wrapping up, so there won't be too much more left. Hopefully, we'll be able to get it all in one go today. But anyway, speaking of making someone's day miserable, I went to the DMV today, and I first had to go to the courthouse and pay the taxes on my car, and then I had to go to the DMV and get a new tag and title. And I kid you not, guys, the trip one way to Georgetown was longer than the time that I spent inside both of those buildings combined. I walked into the courthouse, filled out the whatever I needed to fill out for my to pay the taxes on my car. Did that maybe 5 minutes at best, and then I get to the DMV and I walk in, hand her my information, get all my shit filled out to get my new tags. And I sit down before I'm done filling out the paper, before I'm done filling out the page that I need to fill out to apply for the new title. My number's called. I mean, I was out of the DMV in, I would say, 10 minutes, which is unheard of, man. I remember waiting hours. I mean, hours. I waited in line for 45 minutes at Myrtle Beach one time just to get to the lady to tell her what I needed to do, to then get into the DMV to wait another half hour to get called to find out, oh, well, you got to do this and this and this, and then come back and we can then handle your situation for you. I've had that happen a bunch of times, and that's in Myrtle Beach. Went to Georgetown this time, much better situation, much happier people, and it was nothing short of a pleasure. I was literally in and out in 20 minutes time in both buildings. And speaking of in and out, you like that segue? Oh man, I got it.